begin. Find a quiet place to sit or lie down somewhere. You can be still, uninterrupted, and completely yourself. No expectations, no pressure, no need to perform. This moment is yours. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out gently through your mouth. Let your body begin to soften. You don't need to hold yourself together right now. You don't need to be available to anyone. This is a space where you are no longer on call. Not for a boss, not for your coworkers, not for anyone who thinks your time is theirs to borrow. Just be here. Let's begin a gentle body scan, not to fix anything, but to finally listen to what your body has been trying to say beneath all the noise. Start at the top of your head. Notice the tension in your scalp, the way your brow furries without you realizing. Let that soften. Unclench your forehead. Feel the space between your eyebrows melt into peace. Move down to your eyes, noticing how tired they might be from reading between the lines of too many emails. Let your eyelids feel heavy and free from expectation. No one needs anything from you right now. Your jaw. How often do you grit your teeth without knowing? Loosen it. Unclench. Let your tongue rest gently at the bottom of your mouth. Let your face hang in its natural, unfazed state. Now bring your attention to your shoulders. Do they rise with permission every time someone says, "Can I ask you a favor?" Do they carry the weight of all the things you said yes to when your heart was quietly whispering, "Please say no"? Let those shoulders fall. You don't need to carry that anymore. It's safe to drop it. It's safe to not be the one who saves the day. Now let your awareness drift to your chest. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your breath. Place a hand there, if you'd like. Not to pledge allegiance to your job, but to reconnect with the one person who actually matters right now, you. This heart of yours, it's been running on empty. Trying to be kind, trying to keep the peace, trying to be the good girl, the flexible one, the one who helps out just this once, even when just this once turns into every single time. Breathe. Drop your attention now to your stomach. Soften. You don't need to hold your core tight to make yourself small. You don't have to suck it in physically or emotionally. Let it go. Let your breath deepen into your belly. Now your hips. Let them relax. Let your legs stretch out loose, unburden, unapologetically still. Bring your awareness to your hands. How often are they full? With tasks, with favors, with "can you just" and "would you mind"? Uncurl your fingers. You don't have to hold on to everything. Finally, let your awareness drift all the way down to your feet. The parts of you that keep moving forward even when you're exhausted. even when the answer in your soul is no, but your mouth still says sure. Let them rest. You don't have to keep going right now. You don't have to go above and beyond. You don't even have to go anywhere. You are allowed to stop. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to exit. Even if you're not being useful to someone else. Now take another slow breath in. Hold it gently at the top and release. In this stillness, you're remembering a truth the world tries to make you forget. You are not here to be convenient. You are not here to be liked for your compliance. You are not here to be the one who always comes through. You are here to be whole. And that begins with knowing what's yours to carry and what you finally get to put down. Let's begin this journey together. Take a deep breath. Sink just a little deeper. You're not in the break room. You're not checking your schedule. You're not bracing for someone to ask, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" You're here in your body, with your breath, with your truth. And part of that truth is, you've been saying yes for so long, you sometimes forget you even had the option to say no. It's not that you wanted to say yes. It's not that you had time. It's not that you didn't feel your stomach twist, your shoulders tighten, your breath catch, because you did. But the words still came out. Sure. No problem. Yeah, I can do that. And your brain told you you were doing the right thing. That this made you helpful, valuable, a team player, someone who shows up even when it hurts. Let's pause with that for a moment. Because you learned that reflex. That people-pleasing instinct. It's not weakness, it's survival. Maybe you grew up in a house where saying no led to anger or guilt. Maybe you were raised for being low maintenance, easygoing, not like the others. Maybe your job trained you to think flexibility equals favor. That being the one who always says yes, being safe, being appreciated, being kept. But here's what nobody told you. Every time you say yes when you mean no, a little piece of you disappears into someone else's convenience. You trade your time for their comfort, your peace for their praise, your holidays for their staffing shortage. And worst of all, you do it automatically. That's what the people pleaser reflex is. It's automatic. It bypasses your body. It overrides your energy. It silences your voice before it can finish forming the sentence. I don't want to. Let's try something different now. Picture this. You're standing in front of someone, a coworker, a manager, a family member, anyone who's used you for your easy yes. They ask, "Can you work the 4th of July?" Now freeze that frame. Right before your mouth moves, right before your smile appears, right before you override your own exhaustion. And now pause. You breathe in, you check in, and you ask yourself, do I actually want to do this? Do I have the energy? Would this decision feel like love or resentment? And when the answer is no, no excuses, no explanations, no guilt, You say, "No, I can't." Or even better, "That doesn't work for me." That's it. No apology, no backstory, no offering to make up for it later. Just truth. It might feel uncomfortable at first, like you're breaking some invisible rule. But what you're actually breaking is a cycle. The cycle of always giving more than you get. The cycle of betraying yourself in the name of being liked. The cycle of thinking your worth is based on your ability to say yes without hesitation. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to listen to your gut. You're allowed to choose yourself, even if it means someone else has to find a backup plan. You've spent enough of your life being the fallback, the extra coverage, the one they know will never say no. But now, you're becoming something different. A woman with boundaries. A woman with clarity. A woman who says, "Let me get back to you," and then actually checks in with her own well-being. You don't owe your yes to anyone who didn't even bother to ask how you're doing. Let that truth land in your body. Feel it settle into your chest, your spine, your hands. You're no longer on autopilot. You get to choose now. Let's breathe in and move forward. The boundary guilt spiral. What if they get mad? What if they think I'm selfish? What if saying no ruins everything? That's the spiral. It starts the moment after you set a boundary. Right when your heart starts pounding and your brain whispers, "Was that too harsh? Should I have just said yes? What if they never ask me again?" Let's sit with that spiral for a moment. Not to believe it, but to see it. Because guilt is sneaky. It doesn't barge through the front door yelling, "You're a bad person." No, guilt creeps in through the back. It shows up as overthinking, as anxiety, as the sudden urge to fix what you didn't actually break. You said, "No, I'm not available." And then suddenly, you're pacing, spiraling, crafting backup explanations in case someone gets upset. And this is what happens when you were never taught what your time is to you. This is what happens when every no you've ever said was followed by someone's sigh or side eye or snide comment about being a team player. Let's call it out now. The guilt you feel does not mean you did something wrong. It means you're doing something different. You're choosing yourself. And your nervous system doesn't know how to handle that yet. Because it's used to being bended, shrinking, smelling through the resentment, saying it's fine when you're already at that limit. So when you say no, your body panics. Not because it's wrong, but because it's new. And just like working out sore muscles, it's going to feel uncomfortable at first. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is the first step of healing. And I want you to picture this. You're standing at the register. Someone hands you a bag of bricks labeled guilt, obligation, don't let the team down. She said yes, why can't you? And you feel your arms start to take it. But this time, you pause. And you say, "Actually, that's not mine to carry." Because it's not. You're not responsible for someone else's disappointment. You're not responsible for covering shifts that were poorly staffed. You're not responsible for being liked more than you're respected. Let that sink in. Imagine all the weight you've carried, saying yes out of guilt, saying yes to protect someone's comfort, saying yes so you wouldn't be the difficult one. Now imagine setting it down, right here, right now. Feel your hands open, your shoulders drop, your chest rise with the realization you were allowed to say no even if it makes someone uncomfortable. You were allowed to say no even if someone else says yes. You were allowed to say no without apologizing, explaining, or carrying shame. Because guilt is not proof that you're wrong. It's just proof that you're finally putting yourself first. And your body doesn't know how to celebrate that yet. But we're getting there. With every no, you reclaim yourself. With every no, you create space for your actual life. With every no, you say yes to something bigger. Your healing journey, your joy, your peace. Let's breathe that in and keep going. Let's rewrite the script in your head, because you don't have to play the role they cast you in. Let's take a break together. Let's breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You've been living a script you didn't write. A script that says, always say yes. Don't be difficult. Help out even when you're drowning. Be the reliable one. The flexible one, the one who saves the day with a smile on her face and zero complaints. This script was handed to you piece by piece, by workplaces, parents, school systems, toxic positivity, and that one manager who called you a rock star right before asking if you could cover your only day off. And maybe at first you were proud of it. Proud to be seen as the go-to girl. Proud to be praised for how much you could handle. Proud to be liked. But now you're exhausted. You're resentful. You're beginning to wonder if maybe, just maybe, being liked isn't worth being used. Let's pause here. Close your eyes if they're not closed already. Picture yourself holding that old script in your hands. It's worn, heavy, stained with everyone else's expectations. You flip through the pages and see familiar lines you've spoken 100 times without even thinking. Yeah, I can do that. It's okay. I'll stay late. Sure. I don't have plans. I don't mind. I'll figure it out. No worries. Whatever you need. But you did mind. You just never felt safe enough to say it out loud. Now imagine settling that script down in front of you. You don't have to rip it up just yet. You're not erasing your past. You're just done letting it run the show. Because here's the truth. You don't owe anyone your constant availability. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe anyone your holidays, your energy, your emotional labor, or your polite compliance. You don't need to be the cool girl, the easy one, the one who's always available because she's so chill. You can be soft and strong, kind and assertive, empathetic and unavailable. So now, let's start a new script. Picture yourself picking up a new pen, a sparkly one that glows with every hard-earned boundary and every tiny piece of self-respect you've ever been reclaiming. And on the first page you write, "My time is mine. I don't overextend myself to earn love. I do not prove my worth throughout burnout. I can be a good person with a firm no. I say what I mean what I say, and I stop when I'm done." Let that sink in. You were allowed to protect yourself. You were allowed to speak plainly. You were allowed to pause before responding. You were allowed to say, "No, that doesn't work for me," and walk away without guilt dragging behind you like a tail. And the next time someone hands you a line like, "We really need you. We're short-staffed. Can you just this once?" You don't fall into the old script. You don't soften your no into a maybe. You don't perform. You simply breathe, smile if you want, and say no thank you. Or "I won't be able to do that." Or "That's not something I'm available for." Because that's the new script. And you're the author now. Let's breathe that in together. And with each exhale, let a little more of the old story go. You've earned the right to rest. You've earned the right to say no. You've earned the right to live a life that doesn't require you to apologize for having needs. And that is your power. Let's carry it with us as we move forward. Your rest is not selfish, because you're not a machine, and you were never meant to live like one. Close your eyes if they're not already closed. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose, and sigh it out gently through your mouth. Let your belly rise and fall. Let your chest loosen. Let your jaw go slack. There is nothing you need to do right now. Nowhere you need to be. No one you need to respond to. No shift you need to cover. No manager to impress. This moment is yours, and your only job is to rest, which shouldn't feel radical, but if we're being honest, it does, because we live in a world that treats exhaustion like a trophy, that applauds the person who grinds through holidays, the rewards burnout with employees of the month and a $5 gift card. That calls you dedicated when you show up sick, tired, overwhelmed, and depleted. And somewhere along the way, you were taught that rest was indulgent, that naps are lazy, that slow mornings were selfish, that saying, "I'm off that day," was a luxury, not a right. But here's the truth you're here to remember. You are not selfish for needing rest. You are human. You were not put on this earth to be endlessly productive. You were not born just to say yes, to pick up slack, to people please your way into a corner of someone else's approval. You were born to breathe, to feel, to move through life with presence, not panic, and rest. Rest is how you return to yourself. Rest is where your nervous system repairs, where your clarity lives, where your real power begins to rebuild itself. So if you've ever felt bad for taking a day off, if you'd ever laid on the couch but couldn't enjoy it because of the guilt whispering you should be doing something, if you ever had to lie about your plans just so no would be accepted, this part is for you. Because you don't have to be busy to be worthy. You don't need an excuse to be unavailable. You don't have to earn your rest with exhaustion first. Imagine your rest like a velvet robe. Soft, heavy, comforting. And every time you say no to something that drains you, you wrap it tighter around your shoulders. Feel that now. Let it settle into your body, the way it feels to say, no, I won't be working that day, and not panic, not explain, not spiral, just exhale. Because your rest is not a reward for being useful. It is a bright birthright. It is not selfish. It is sacred. And the more you rest, the more you return to your real self, not the overworked version, not the agreeable version, but the version that smiles without force, that laughs without hesitation or tension, that shows up for the life she actually wants to be living. You are not falling behind. You are finally catching up to yourself. And the next time someone tries to make you feel bad for choosing rest, you'll smile, lean back, and say, it's called balance, babe. Look it up. And you'll mean it. So rest. Not just tonight, but whenever you need to. Rest boldly. Rest unapologetically. Rest like your peace depends on it. Because it does. And you are allowed. Let's take one more breath and move forward. Holidays are not just open availability. Your day off is not up for negotiation. Breathe in. Hold it at the top. And exhale slowly. Like you're letting go of every forced smile you've ever given after being asked. So, any chance you could work this weekend? Now let's talk about holidays. Let's talk about how somewhere along the line they stopped feeling like your days and started feeling like you were waiting to see if you were allowed to enjoy them. Like your plans were a placeholder. Like your rest was only valid if no one else needed you. You know the routine. You start to look forward to that 3-day weekend. You picture yourself by the pool, or grilling with your family, or even just lying in bed doing absolutely nothing. And then an email, a text, a clipboard with a holiday schedule, or worse, your boss just asked you in front of everyone, are you available to work 4th of July? Can we count you in on a Memorial Day? You're not going anywhere, right? As if they're doing you a favor by asking. As if your time doesn't matter unless it's being traded for a shift and a lukewarm pizza in the break room. Let's get one thing straight. Holidays are not bonus work days. They are yours. They are built into our life for a reason, not to be handed away, not to be volunteered under pressure, not to be negotiated at the last minute. You are allowed to have a holiday. Even if you're single, even if you don't have kids, even if you didn't have plans yet, even if someone else said yes. Let's pause with that one for 1 second. Just because someone else said yes doesn't mean you have to. You're not less of a team player. You're not lazy. You're not being unfair. You are simply choosing to protect your peace on a day that exists specifically to give you a break. Picture this now. You're sitting in a lawn chair. The sun is warm. You've got a drink in your hand. Music is playing in the distance. You're in a pair of ridiculous holiday-themed sunglasses that you only wear once a year because you can. Your phone buzzes with a message that says, "Hey, any chance you could come in for a few hours?" And instead of panicking, or replying with a maybe, or explaining your plans, you smile, you put your phone down, and you say to yourself, "I don't work holidays." Not because you couldn't, not because you're unavailable, because you deserve to enjoy your life too. Your joy is not a second priority. Your holiday doesn't need a permission slip. Your rest is not something you sneak in when no one's looking. You get to take up space. You get to make plans that aren't tentative. You get to say, "Oh, I don't work that day." Not with guilt, not with fear, but with confidence. And if they act disappointed, that's okay. Disappointment is not danger. It's just a signal that you did something different than what they expected. And that's your work to deal with. You don't owe your holidays to your job. You don't owe them to guilt. You don't owe them to anyone who would never trade their day off for yours. So rest, laugh, make memories, turn your phone off, say no. And if someone else is upset, you'll be too busy enjoying your damn watermelon slices to care. Let that sink in, and let's move forward. Take a deep breath in. Let it fill your chest. Hold it at the top and exhale slowly. Now picture this. You said no. Clearly, respectfully, without attitude, you set a boundary. And then they came back. Maybe not right away. Maybe they gave it a day. Maybe they circled back like it was casual. "Hey, I know you said you couldn't, but are you sure? We're kind of stuck and you're always so reliable. Just checking in again, still can't work the 4th?" And suddenly your body is tense again. Your pulse picks up. Your mind starts rehearsing excuses. You feel like you're being interrogated for wanting to keep your day off. Let's pause here. Because this moment right here, this is where the guilt tries to sneak back in. This is where the people-pleasing rears its head and says, well, they wouldn't ask again unless they really needed to. What if no one else can help? They're going to think I'm being difficult. But listen closely. You already said no. And you don't need to say it twice. You are not an automated system where they can hit refresh and get a different answer. You are not an app. You are not a backup plan. You are not a loophole in the schedule. When someone asks again after you've already said no, that's not a compliment. That's not just checking. It's a boundary test. They're testing to see if your no is solid. And if it was just soft enough to bend with a little pressure, but you were done bending. This is the part where you rise a little taller in your chair, where you drop your voice into a place of calm, grounded power, and you say, like I said, I won't be available, or my answer hasn't changed, or I've already given you my decision and I won't be revisiting it. And then you stop. You don't defend it. You don't pat it. You don't say sorry to soften it. You let it stand on its own. Because that no, it was valid the first time. And it's still valid now. You don't need to keep saying it just because someone else keeps asking. Their persistence doesn't make their need more important. It doesn't make their discomfort your responsibility. Let's breathe that in. Breathe in your strength. Breathe in your clarity. Breathe in the right to be done talking about something you've already answered. Now imagine yourself walking away from that conversation. No spiral, no guilt, no second guessing. You don't owe more than one no. You don't owe emotional labor to someone who didn't listen the first time. You don't owe your availability just because they're uncomfortable with your boundary. If they ask again, you'll respond the same way. And if they ask a third time, you don't even have to answer. Because silence is always a response. Your energy is too precious to keep spending on someone who acts like your time is up for negotiation. You are done re-explaining. You are done sugarcoating. You are done justifying your need for rest, space, and freedom. You said no. That is enough. Let that truth settle deep in your bones. And let's keep going. You can say no without explaining yourself. Because no is a full sentence and you are not on trial. Take a deep breath with me. A real one. The kind of breath you didn't have time for when you were mid-shift, juggling a last-minute favor, or typing out a paragraph-long no that still somehow sounded like a maybe. Inhale deeply, and exhale everything that was never yours to prove. Now let's talk about over-explaining. That flex that kicks in the moment you set a boundary. You know the feeling. You want to say no, but somehow your mouth starts writing a novel. I'm really sorry, it's just that I've been super busy lately, and I haven't had a day off in a while, and my cousin is coming to visit, and also my dog is acting weird, and I just really need this day, if that's okay with you. And what started as a clear boundary ends up sounding like you're begging for forgiveness. Let's stop that cycle. Let's pause. Because here's what's really happening when you explain yourself too much. You're trying to make your no's sound reasonable enough to be accepted. You're hoping that if you explain well enough, they won't be upset. That if you offer a good enough excuse, they'll escape judgment. That if you justify your no, it will sting less. But what if I told you, you don't need an excuse to rest? You don't need to earn the right to say no. You don't need to soften the blow of your boundaries. Your decisions do not require validation. Let that sink in. When you say, I'm not available that day, you don't owe a reason. You don't owe an explanation. You don't owe your personal calendar, emotional state, or medical history just to decline a shift. And if they press for details, you say that day is blocked off for personal time, or even better, I am not available. Period. No comma, no apology, no nervous laughter, no paragraph. Now I want you to imagine this. You're standing at the counter. Your boss walks over. They say, can you work on Labor Day? You take a slow breath. You look them in the eye. And with total calm, you say, no, I won't be available. They wait. And instead of scrambling for a reason, instead of filling the silence, instead of listing all the things you'll be doing instead, you just let the silence exist. You let it hang there, confident and unbothered. Because you know something they don't. Their reaction does not require your explanation. You're not on trial. You're not negotiating a hostage release. You're not being rude. You are simply sovereign, in charge of your own time, in charge of your own boundaries, in charge of your own life. And the more you practice this, the easier it becomes. No thank you. I'm not available. It doesn't work for me. No reasons, no fluff, no guilt. You're done over-explaining. You're done shrinking your truth to make others more comfortable. You're done performing politeness just to make your boundaries more palatable. And the next time your finger hovers over your phone ready to type a whole essay, stop, breathe, delete, start again. Shorter, simpler, and stronger. Because no is enough. And so are you. Let's take one more deep breath. You just let go of 1,000 unnecessary sentences you never have to say again. Now let's move forward. Saying yes to yourself. Because when you stop giving everyone else your time, you finally have enough to give back to yourself. Take a deep breath. Feel how much lighter you are already. Now that you've said no. Now that you've reclaimed your time. Now that you've decided your life doesn't belong to a rotating door of requests, explanations, and expectations, and just one more thing. So now we ask a different question. What does it feel like to say yes to you? Not yes to guilt. Not yes to pressure. Not yes to be unliked. But a deep, grounded, soul-rooted yes to your own joy. You spent so long shrinking yourself to fit other people's needs that saying yes to yourself might feel strange at first, rebellious even, but that's okay. You're allowed to be a little rebellious, especially when you're rebuilding a life that actually belongs to you. So let's imagine that now. It's the holiday weekend. You've already said no to covering the shift. You're not checking your messages. You're not refreshing the schedule just in case. You're not bracing for a guilt trip. You're just living. You wake up slowly. You make your coffee or tea. You put on the outfit that makes you feel like a soft, sparkly, untouchable goddess. You text your best friend. You walk outside. You listen to music. You sit under the sun. Maybe you dance in the kitchen. Maybe you take a nap in the middle of the day. Maybe you read a book without checking the time. And for the first time in a long time, you're not waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're not waiting to be interrupted. You're not checking your phone to see who needs you. Because you need you. And for once you choose yourself. That's what this is really about. Saying no isn't just about setting boundaries with other people. It's about opening space for yourself to breathe, to rest, to play, and to be. When you finally stop spending your energy on everyone else's emergencies, you finally have enough left to water your own garden. So today, you say to yourself, yes. Yes to peace. Yes to plans that are just fun. Yes to doing absolutely nothing without feeling bad about it. Yes to sitting still and remembering who you were before you became so helpful, so reliable, and so used. This is the version of you who doesn't apologize for being unavailable, who doesn't feel guilty for needing space, who doesn't justify their time off like it's a luxury someone forgot to approve. This is the version who says, I matter too. So breathe into that. Let it settle in your bones. Let it fill you with warmth, with peace, with power. You're not waiting for someone else to give you permission anymore. You've already decided. Your time is sacred. Your joy is valid. And your yes belongs to you now. Let's take one last breath before we close out this journey into the final part. You don't have to be available to be valuable. Let your body sink. Let your limbs grow heavy. Let your jaw relax. Let your breath slow, like waves rolling in after a long, long storm. This is the part where you let go of it all. Let go of the calendar. Let go of the requests. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the invisible expectations that were never yours to carry. Because you're done performing. You're done apologizing. You're done pretending that your value comes from what you can do for other people. You are so much more than that. You're allowed to be unavailable. You're allowed to miss the call. You're allowed to let that group chat light up without replying. You're allowed to log off, to step back, to not explain. And you are still good, still worthy, and still enough. You're not loved for your flexibility. You're not valuable because of your yes. You're not safe because of your willingness. You're loved because of who you are. Whole, soft, and human. There will always be people who try to get around your boundaries, who ask twice, who hint, who guilt, who just need a quick favor. But they will learn, because you are learning too. You are learning to be still, to breathe before answering, to trust your gut when it says no, not this time, to let the discomfort come and go like a wave and still not change your mind. You are learning that every no you speak makes you space for the life you actually want. For your peace, for your hobbies, for your healing, for your people, for your joy. You are not a machine. You are not a robot. You are not a human scheduling app. You are a person who needs their limits. with a body that deserves rest and a soul that craves quiet. And tonight, you get to have both. No one is calling. No one is knocking. No one needs anything right now. You are here, held, safe, unbothered, completely allowed to do nothing. You can rest. You deserve to rest. And you don't have to earn it first. Let your breath soften. Let your thoughts slow. Let the words fade away. You're not allowed. You're not available right now because you're busy being whole. And that is more than enough. So sleep well. You've earned it.